welcome to the show, Amy Gaston. You are founder and executive director of the International Cultural Arts and Healing Sciences Institute, facilitator and trainer at the World Trust. You trained in music since the age of 4, studying classical piano, flutes, both Western and Indian, harp, and a multitude of percussion instruments from around the world. Your interest in ethnomusicology and sacred chanting has led to you being invited to sing at the commemoration of the Golden Buddha at the request of the Dalai Lama, no less. Proclaimed as having one of the most purest contemporary voices, and you've been described as like listening to a velvet waterfall by MTV.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
Your debut album, Mosaic, received national attention, winning no less than 12 music awards. You've traveled the world with both award-winning artists and as part of your work as a cultural ambassador to promote healing and well-being through arts, music, and activism. So welcome to the show, and please tell us more.
Thank you, Tom. Wow. Well, I first want to say I'm really honored to be here. It's so fantastic that my cousin Leslie Gaston was also on the show, and my friend Raz Kennedy too. He's in the show too, so it feels like old home week, quite honestly. And Skyler, I mean, what else can we say about your fabulousness and your incredible career? And right? Your spectacular beingness, and it's just so wonderful to see other artists and musicians that are really committed to the work being about the work to change the world. That's right. I really do believe that it is music and art that's going to heal all of us, quite honestly. And I just found out this morning that there are a bunch of billboards that have gone up in Cuba that say art is what will heal us. And so I do. Yeah. Wow. That's 100% what's going to heal us. I know it's what healed me after I was run over by a hate crime and an accident. I was killed and came back. I don't know if you all knew that part of the story.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I know. I was in a field of flowers, and these five white guys in a big white truck literally drove right into me on purpose. And I died, and I came back. I had the whole out of body experience and came back, and was in the hospital for like many months. But what healed me was music, quite frankly.
That's right.
Absolutely. Like there's no pain medication that can help with third-degree burns all over your body, but music could. And that's why, it's undeniable.
They say people that go into a coma, right? So some doctors say, bring their favorite song.
Yes.
And they play their favorite song and they start singing it, even though their eyes are closed, right?
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, and that's why they know,
That's incredible.
It's the most healing tool on the planet.
Hey, man, heals aphasia, dementia. They talk about people don't know how to speak. I mean, Melody Gardot, her story. She also got run over and was in a horrible accident and lost her ability to speak and sing. And it was through music that she learned not only how to sing again, but learned all these other languages, honey. Now she speaks like 5 languages. And it was through music.
Yeah. Wow. Ryan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted, to touch on, I watched your TEDx talk, Dare to Be Dauntless. And you came on stage, you were singing. I was like, oh, okay. Like this is, and then you just went into, I was murdered. And I was like, wait, what happened? And it was so tragic.
That's how you
I was
hit
sitting there going like, oh, okay. But through your transformation and through your pain and the tragedy of that, you ended up, like Tom was saying, you founded the International Cultural Arts and Healing Sciences Institute.
Yes, you did it. Yes.
Can we shorten it? Is there
ICAHSI?
ICAHSI. Yeah. Okay, that's going to be easy for me to pronounce. So can you tell us more about ICAHSI and its work and the work that you do around the world?
Thank you so much for asking. Yes, it's an organization, and actually the Dalai Lama was the one that was like, get to it. And I was like, yes, sir.
Okay.
Aye, Captain. It's an organization where we partner with different organizations like UNHCR and the United Nations for High Commission on Refugees and different dance companies. We bring together artists and healers from around the world to further this movement. And, I have a program called Music is Medicine. And so we go to a lot of war-torn countries and work with jeopardized populations, primarily with refugees, and, where they're frozen in this amber and they can't speak and they can't remember and they have horrible PTSD. The music cuts through, even in a language that they don't understand.
That's right.
The way, that your heart understands the intention behind love and song. And Skyler, I loved your video that you were talking about, one heart, one world. It's that.
One world. Yes.
One world. Yes.
Yeah.
It's one world. And so I've gone to places like Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Palestine. I mean, I had the most incredible experience working with these Palestinian refugee children. They put on their first Palestinian Idol and they were like, come be a celebrity judge, a Palestinian Idol, which, with refugees, why would you do that? But anyway, this was, a State Department funded thing. And so we went, and this little girl, she couldn't have been more than 10, 11, 12. She ran through all of the TV cameras and, Skyler, once the TV crew is around, everyone's all on their best behavior. But this little girl, it didn't faze her at all. She came running up and she grabbed me and she dragged me from everyone and all the cameras, and they're following her and following me. And she brought us into this alley and she said, and in broken English, but the best that she could do, she was like, I wrote this song for you to go back to your country and sing to your president so he will love us again. And she sang, we are the children of Palestine. We are the children of the Holy Land. We are living in poverty in the villages, towns, and big cities. We seek change, not charity. We seek change, not charity. If food, shelter, and playing in school is not for me, only for you, then what is freedom? What is right? And I was like,
wow.
You wrote that and you learned the English to sing that. And so anytime I go anywhere, I'm like, this is so important for us to remember that change comes from this place where the heart can authentically express itself. And what better way to authentically express yourself than through music, than through the arts?
Yes, I've never been to a country they didn't have music, right? And so I did something at the BART station in Oakland for Oscar Grant. And I brought a sister in that played the oud. And it was so wonderful to watch the children. We let a lot of doves go into the air before we came.
Wow.
Right? The most beautiful thing is watching those children look at instruments, coro, the oud, watching instruments that they've never seen before.
Yes.
Right? So that was kind of my concept too.
Yes.
With Music for Global Change, so that we can get kids all over the world to see different instruments.
Yes.
See people singing different languages.
Yes.
You can have any beat that you want on it, but the lyrical content has to be about healing, education, and solving problems, right? And so when I came up with this concept, I wanted to start a whole new genre that's been there for many, many, many years of social conscious music. There's never been a genre like jazz and rock and R&B and classical, but no social conscious music. So I said, let me create a movement where we can start the genre, and then we can start our own radio shows from it.
I'm with you all day.
We're starting our own television show here, record companies, and festivals. Artists like yourself, but I don't want people to come sing like love song, My Baby and all that. It ain't about that.
Yes.
who I killed last night. Oh, look what I'm wearing.
Yes.
Right? This is going to be about how we can heal and educate each other, right? With beautiful instruments, right? So it'd be so lovely to have you in our movement.
100%. I'm down for it all day, down with the cause, and I will spread it far and wide. And I tell you, that's the kind of music that healed me in the hospital. It wasn't, baby, I want your number. It was none of that. No.
Right,
it was this brother in DC, Brother he would pour water from one jar into the other one and just going, yeah, and just
chanting. Yeah,
chanting so deeply, and like the intention around healing from the light of the womb. That's what his album was called.
Wow.
And it was so powerful. Like you could feel the resonance, that intentionality in the resonance.
Yeah.
Music is so powerful in a way that we don't even understand yet. You know, they talk about coherence and heart math and the ways that our body recalibrates, our brain chemistry changes, dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin. Like all of these things come together in a way that shifts our body chemistry just from sound.
That's right.
Can you imagine what we could do when we really, really learned about it and studied it and shared it?
That's exactly why I want to start these festivals.
Oh, please.
Where we have about 15 artists. You know, and we get one big band to play. The artists come out and do about 4 or 5 songs, and then here come the next artist.
Yes.
Like a Motown review. But,
yes.
Tom, you got a question?
We touched on already. You are a facilitator and trainer at the World Trust.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the work that they do? Is it something
yes.
that other people can get involved in? And if so, how
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, Tom. It's such an incredible organization. It's called World Trust. You could find it at www.world-trust.org. And what we do is we use the arts, primarily film, to facilitate dialogue around things that are so important for us to think about, like how we can co-liberate together, how social justice and art really power the movement for change, and how through radical imagination and through transformational learning that we can talk about bias and privilege and racism and all the ways that our dominant culture imposes these concepts on us that, you know, it's a social construct that we are immersed in from birth, that we are trying to unpack now. And we are finding that people are having difficulty having these real powerful, courageous conversations. But when you have something to tie it to, like a film clip that shows, you know, a mother talking about how she's changed through conversation, or you see these things where people really latch on to something that starts the conversation for them, and the arts do that. So this particular organization uses film clips. It was founded by Dr. Shakti Butler, and her husband have been stalwarts for years doing this work. And, you know, they just retired and they're like, here you go, homie. And with my co-ED, Unique Holland, we are pulling together and doing facilitations for people like Google, for Disney, for, you know, these large corporations that want to make changes, especially after George Floyd. I mean, it just came to the fore how important it is that we're still doing work that our country we're living at the scene of the crime. So people are still unable to figure out ways to move past it. And we're trying to get creative, using creativity on getting people past it and imagining a world where this didn't exist. A lot of people didn't believe that women could ever vote, but now we can. So getting through the pain and angst into a place of believing that we can is the hope piece. And that's where music comes in again. We get people hoping that we can make change, and then we can. And so we can't stay stuck in the trauma of it. We have to move forward, but we also have to own it. We have to call it out. We have to own it. You know, Black Lives Matter, all those things. People are so afraid of critical race theory.
Yeah.
Why? It's historical. This is what happened to us. Yeah. We're trying to heal and repair so that we can all live together. One world. Right, Brother Skyler? One world.
One heart. One love.
One love, one sound, one band, one team. You know, come on, y'all. We can all still be diverse. Many roses on one bush. Let's go.
What time your church open?
Hey, it's right now. It's right now with you, Baba Skyler. We're doing it. Hallelujah.
I'm all the way there. You know what I'm saying? Right? You got a question?
Well, I deal a lot in social media. It's part of my job, dealing with a lot of clients and organizations. I was just curious, like, you know, do you spend a lot of time on social media with your work, or, you know, do you have any favorite social networks or, you know, or hashtags that you want to share and things like that? Yeah.
You know, I gotta tell you, Ryan, I am an analog girl in a digital world. I'm still like trying to get with the social media thing. Like I need to call you up, Ryan, and be like, brother, can you help us sister out?
Yeah.
You know, but I do see the power of it, like how we're able to now have visibility around the world because of it, and have ways that people are able to speak their mind and share their visions and their thoughts in ways we never could before. Like it has changed the social landscape of how we interact with one another. So, you know, I think outside of the organizations that I'm a part of, I think it's really important to support small organizations, like there's an organization I just met with earlier today called Raíces, and it's all about cultural arts and all the stuff that we're talking about, like how to bring forth the traditional musicians that might not have access to things like social media. How do we give them a platform? I did a world concert last week, raising money for Ukrainian refugees, where I spoke with these traditional folk artists, these singers who are like, we are refugees of refugees. They are targeting us in this cultural war. And so they are forbidden to sing their traditional songs. And so I was like, we have to so I made this video. I mean, I can send it to you all and you all can weave it into the show if you want, but it is powerful what the lack of love can drive you to. When you don't love from your soul and you feel comfortable killing a whole multiple generations of people and killing the soul of their country by targeting their art. So they targeted, I performed in the Ukraine. The last place I performed at the Palace of Fine Arts was the first place I got bombed and destroyed.
Man has always been in an evil state.
Talk about it, Skyler.
Because of power.
And greed.
If you look at most of the wars come from religion.
Yes. Oh, wow.
And each religion tells you need to join us because we're about love. But you
and we'll kill you unless you join us with love. That's right. Oh my God.
And you the guys is bombing each other and stuff like that, right? And the crazy thing is, if your body gets to live to 100, that's remarkable, right? Because after you get 100, there's still people here. Right?
That's right.
And then somebody else wants to take the mantle after that, right? So we have to cut that out. So, but like I said, you know, the power of peace. The power of peace. The more people want. The good thing is, more people want to get along than people that don't.
Right. And if we could just infuse that more into the zeitgeist, like you're talking about, Skyler, and really spreading that message where war becomes this antiquated thing, like, what, really? Guns, why? Like it shifts the consciousness when we all come together. So Ryan, when you asked about social media and ways to blast it out, like, how do we do that? I'm asking you, you tell me, I want to know, because I think it's so important for all of us to really kind of put war in its place and get peace brought to the front, because it's kind of ridiculous. It's not kind of ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. Yeah. We're losing millions of people's lives for what?
There's a demonstration we can. If all four of us walked into a party and we go, anybody want to hear some bad news, raise your hand. ain't no hands going up, right? But if we go outside for an hour and come back, who wants to hear some good news? Hands going up, right?
That's right.
So that's our new audience. Those are all the people we really need, right?
That's right.
So there is an audience for what we're doing. And
there is. And a desire.
I did some research on, and I looked up love songs. There's over 5 billion love songs.
Wow.
Do we really need a love song? Another love song? But I looked up social conscious songs.
Yeah.
There's 192 million social conscious songs, but there's no platform. And that's what we're building. Hey, if the four of us had $10 from 192 million,
we'd be good to go and throw the most bomb diggity concerts and festivals ever. That's right.
That's the plan. Right?
I love that plan. I think that's a great plan.
Yeah.
All about raising the vibration of the planet. Yes, please.
Yeah. And so I want to go into different countries. You can help me with this because you've been traveling to these countries.
You better know it. Yes.
There's people there that's doing social conscious music. We'd like to bring them on the show.
That's right. Let me tell you something, brother. So I'm about to go to Oman. I also work with this other organization called Company E. They're this fabulous contemporary ballet dancers, but they're also cultural arts, diplomats like me. Yeah. And we're going to Oman in the fall to work with Oman traditional musicians. So yes, if we could set up a time then when you could be with everybody, we could all be in the same room and come and be on your show and you could talk to them. That would be fantastic.
I love that idea. And wherever you go, we can do that, right?
Yes.
Tom, you got a question?
You've done your debut album, as I mentioned it, Mosaic. Have you got any more musical sort of
yes, I didn't. Yes, I did. And actually, I sent you all some songs. You could check them out. I did an album called Being in Love, and it actually had Esperanza Spalding on it.
Wow.
Yeah, Sheila E. was on it. And, a lot of these different, I don't know if you know, Howard Levy and all these great musicians that are so about. And so we took a lot of originals and some jazz songs. We even did like Taking It to the Streets, like again, social consciousness music. And really wed it to the songs from Brazil, talking about, Paranae, when they do capoeira, they dance this dance and they sing the song about the revolution of people marching for their freedom. And so like looking at what freedom songs like Hambo, and I did that with Linda Tillery, and just looking at songs that traditionally mean something more than what you said, just random love songs. It's about being in love, but in love with yourself and in love with yourself that is reflected out into the family, the global family around you, right? Being in love with all of us is so important.
Go ahead, Ryan.
So I have to ask the question.
Do it.
Did you call the Dalai Lama Daddy?
I did. I did. I did not know, and I did not mean to. This is hilarious. Okay, so like you saw in the show, I went and I was going to sing for the Dalai Lama. And, I had always read, his books and his sayings. But the concept of a Dalai Lama is so powerful, starting like you're chosen at such a young age and you walk in this spiritual path your whole life. I was like, all right, we're going to check out this brother's vibration. It's got to be next level, right? We got to see. And I was there for it. I was like, okay, I'm going to check it out. And I was chosen out of just 6 people from around the world to come and do this music with him and perform for him in this golden Buddha statue. So we're waiting and waiting, we're all, and there's 7,000 Tibetans that are kneeling on the field. It was beautiful. And so then all of a sudden they blow this shofar and here he comes. And honestly, you could have cut the air with a knife, honey. He was so next level vibration, like the sun was just shining on him. And I was like, okay, actually, yes, that is the sign of someone who's walked this walk. Your molecular structure and vibration is completely different than most folk that I know. Anyway, he came, everyone else sang, and I was the final act. And so we're singing and singing and singing, and I throw my head back and I'm drumming and I'm singing. I say, "Hey, Baba Dalai Lama." And I open my eyes and everyone's cracking up on the field. And I was like, Maybe an eagle flew overhead. I missed it. My eyes are closed. I was maybe, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, we get bum rushed. They come running to the stage and they're squeezing my cheeks and they're kissing me and I have no idea. And I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm the final act. Maybe because I'm just standing. I had no idea. It wasn't until I got back to the embassy where they came running out. They were like, "Oh my God, that was so fabulous. We love when you called him Daddy." I was like, "What?" Yeah. Wait, and I didn't know that I had done that. And right after we finished singing, he put this shawl around my neck and he goes, "I'll be your daddy." He whispered it in my ear. And I was like, "What's happening right now? What's happening right now? Oh my God, I love this." So when I got back to the embassy, they said, "We love when you called him Daddy." I said, when did I call him Daddy? They said, nobody over 3 calls their father Baba. Now in Africa, Baba means great teacher. It's a sign of respect. I called you Baba Skyler when I walked on. That's just the way. These people, that is not their way. You talk about a cultural faux pas that could have gone another direction. But luckily, it was a good thing. So I guess, thank you for asking, Ryan. That's the story of me calling.
I had to know. I had to know.
He's my daddy.
That's the title of the track.
So
that's right.
So, well, how do you get these gigs where you get to go all these different countries, invited? It's truly a blessing. Like, it's really interesting. I have to give a shout out to my brother, Paul Emerson. He is the founder of Company E, and he's done a lot of work at the Foreign Services Institute and has brought me in. But it really started with this organization called Intersections International. They do a lot of work with refugees in Iraq. And so then just kind of, and also being in DC, like being around this kind of global, aid work. And both of my parents are also, my mom used to be the assistant surgeon general for for 5 presidents. Oh, wow. And so going out and doing service work, it has always been in my family. And so
it made sense when I started getting invited by different agencies and to partner with different government agencies to go out to these places and do this work. It was like, yes. So then you kind of get on a list where people are like, oh, she'll go. Yeah. Because a lot of people are afraid to go. Like, you're like, we're going to send you out to a place where bombs are going to be flying overhead. So like I went to Lebanon, to Jordan, and to Syria when the war was going down and when it was ramping up, and everyone else was like, oh, I'm not going. And I was like, I'm going. And I went. Wow. And so you get invited to these places. Most of the places that I go, there's some level of social justice work or restorative justice work that needs to happen. So like working with Iraqi refugees, Palestinian refugees, refugees from, children of war from Sierra Leone that are doing restorative justice work, like places like that where people are really dealing with the need to feel the healing through the arts and the need to express themselves through drumming, through spoken word and poetry, through singing. That's where I like to go, is where, not where everything's all jelly roll. So like they never sent me to Europe. I would love to go to Paris and just chill out and sing, but that's not where that's not where I'm
going. When I start doing the festivals, you're definitely going to be on that list. We're going to get you over here. I wrote a song, not just, it's for everybody, right? But because music isn't just for somebody, it's for everybody, right?
True that.
I wrote a song called Nobody Knows Their Name.
Ooh.
And the reason why I wrote that, because there's so many people who do beautiful things and they never get any credit for it.
Yes.
Right. So this song, I got this idea of somebody walking down the street, and on both sides of the street, people are doing just beautiful things for each other. Right? Like I want the video to be like a car rolls over and it's about to catch fire, and that's that one person goes grab that person and pulls them out of the car, and then they walk off. Well, nobody knew their name. Mm-hmm. Say you was in a restaurant and you go pick up you see your bus coming and you pick up your purse, but your wallet falls out. And then somebody go, oh, she dropped her. They go get your wallet and run to the bus, to the door to give you your wallet, but you never knew their name.
You know what, brother? That happened. The people that lifted the truck off of me when I was run over by this truck and died and came back, the people that lifted off the truck were 3 women. Wow. And I never knew their name. We were all at this music festival waiting to get in a music festival. And it happened waiting to get in. It was really hot. People were outside of their cars playing Frisbee, and I was over in this field of flowers waiting to get in. They ran me over. The brothers didn't get out of the car. They said they were afraid for their life because the women from the festival surrounded the car and were like, rah, rah, rah. Wow. They didn't get out. And 3 women with adrenaline, I mean, you talk about adrenaline, honey, lifted that truck up off of me and pulled me out. And that's how my life was saved. With what you're talking about, people that I don't even know. Nobody knows their name. I don't know their name. I don't even know how to begin to find out who they are. But that's what you're talking about.
They're earth angels.
They are earth angels.
Those are earth angels.
Yes.
And all these and all over the world, people do beautiful things for each other.
That's right.
And get no credit. Well, we're going to celebrate them.
That's right. I think that's wonderful. I mean, you see this video footage on the news of people like helping these little tiny Ukrainian refugee children that, their parents were like, just run. And they are running into the nothingness. And people help them along the way. Harriet Tubman, all of these people that help on the Underground Railroad. We don't know any of their names, but it's exactly what you're talking about. I think that's beautiful, Skyler.
Thank you. And the next time you go back to Syria, I wrote a song called "Children Behind the Building."
Oh,
it's a war-torn country, and these kids are still playing soccer. Well,
right?
They call it football, and the ball goes out in the street. But they get to the corner and they look up to see if any drones.
Oh my God! Yes.
Before they go out there, you know what I mean. So
I would love to check it out. And it's so deep too, because like that's what you're talking about. Isn't pretend, it's real. When I was in Lebanon, I asked them, I was like, how do you, live? The bombs are literally flying overhead. They were like, we still go to the beach. We have to keep living.
Yes.
Right. Watch the bombs go over the beach while we're laying on the beach. Well, it's just real.
I love. Let's get another question in from both Tom and Ryan.
Okay.
And Tom, you go first, and then
Well, I mean, my question is for you there. What's your next project? What's your next big thing that you're going to work on?
Well, I think, Skyler and I are going to release an album together.
There you go. What's it called?
Hey now.
Hey. There are a lot of projects that are happening, and thank you for asking. I'm really excited to launch a cultural heritage legacy initiative where really we start doing everything we've been talking about this whole time, is really gathering resources and ways to pull together stories and really preserve traditional ways, not just music and art, but like how to build an oud, how to do these things where we make sure that this skill set isn't lost. And, so many people are doing things on YouTube to make $1, but, they're not taking the time to work with the masters who are now 80, 90, who know how to carve the wood. Like, I think there was some study where they talked about how cork trees still exist, but people who know how to actually harvest the cork, like you can't do it by machine, it's actually by hand.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to do it anymore who are younger. So these older brothers are like, we can't do it anymore. We physically can't do it. So we might run out of cork. Like, it's such an interesting concept. But so that's the next thing that's big for me. And also, I'm recording another album where I'm pulling together sacred songs, Orisha songs, sacred songs from the Afro-Cuban lineage, where we talk about natural spirits and how that plays in. To this day, we need them more than ever because, our global ecology is suffering. Yeah. And so talking to the water spirits, the ocean spirits, the, things that are all around us all the time in nature, and how ancestrally there's always been a song that goes to sing to the water to please flow, or, you dance for a rain dance in the Lakota tradition. There are all these ways that, these natural practices that honor and revere the elements of nature, we're forgetting and not preserving those songs as well. So it's very exciting to kind of pull together musicians that still know how to play the bata and still know how to do these dances and sing these songs. And
that's a great title, The Elements of Nature.
Yes. All right. Well, there you go. That's what it's called. You heard it first here on the Skyler Jett Show.
Elements, breaking news.
On the Dalai Lama is my daddy episode.
Go ahead, Ryan.
But I just wanted to mention, you were talking about when you're doing the Palestinian American Idol, I was like, oh, maybe she's the Simon Cowell of Palestinian American Idol. But I remember you talking about a young Palestinian boy who wanted to learn hip hop. He used some choice words. But I guess at the end, it was more about, you'll have to elaborate, but the aspect of he wanted to now learn how to play the drums instead of learning how to build a bomb. I was like, whoa.
That's like 100% it, Ryan. Yeah. You said it right there. And to me, that's the point of all of this, right? The point of coming together and really being and we're all arts ambassadors. We're all cultural. Everyone on this show right now is that. Yeah, and there was a young boy who obviously was so frustrated and so angry at life, and he was training to become a Unabomber. And
oh wow.
Yeah. And unbeknownst to me, he was with me, he was singing, he was learning all these things. And, he didn't want to be not cool. He was like 17 years old. So he would sneak off in the corner and practice his vocal scales while nobody was looking. Wow. But I could hear him. Right. And he was always trying to like sit off to the side and scowl. And so that I didn't know I was reaching him at all, but I just kept, coming just like this, just like this, just like this. Come on, let's drum. Come on, let's sing. Come on, let's be. And then right before I left, he came up to me and he said, sit Ami, sit means ma'am. He said, sit Ami, you teach me to drum and not bomb. Now I want to drum and not bomb.
How about that?
And I was like, say what now? Like it was one of those, say what y'all? And we started having this really deep conversation around how politics is shaping the hearts and minds of the youth that don't have any other outlet to express their frustration around wanting love, but everybody's fighting for resources and all the things we've been talking about today.
But and the fact that you gave him that, what a blessing. Listen,
don't you know, I ran back. I was like, everybody send drums to Palestine, right? Like run.
As many as you can get, you know what I mean?
Seriously.
Amy, blessings, sister.
Truly, brother. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. humanity.